Hi Diary, it's May 2025. This is some documentation on the Smarthome implementation at Grangette. First of all, we are going to look at the fact that all the rooms have smart LED light bulbs installed. So what does that mean? That means in the ceiling here, we have a number of LED bulbs, and each LED bulb actually connects to the building's Wi-Fi. And in addition to this power on switch here, which is always left on for each room that is concerned, the lights are individually addressable via Wi-Fi. Now, that is connected via an Amazon skill to the Amazon device. So I can say, for example, if we focus in on the Alexa device here, Alexa, turn off study. Alexa, turn on study. So there are a number of rooms, and this is currently operating in English because the Amazon device is working in English. If, for example, you wanted to change it to French, you would change the Amazon language to French, and then you could change all the room names to French. We've tried to have the Amazon operating in English and the room names in French, but it just doesn't work. So let's go back a step and say that there are a number of rooms. There is the study, there is guest, there is the bedroom, there is hall, there is lounge, and there is kitchen. So with all of those room names, you can do an Alexa, turn on hall, Alexa, turn off hall. So you can use the A word with an on and the room name. So to remind you, the names are study, guest, hall, lounge, kitchen, and bedroom. Okay, some more advanced features. Alexa, change study to colour red. Alexa, change study to colour white. Alexa, change hall to 10%. Alexa, change hall to 50%. Alexa, change hall to 100%. Because we haven't replaced the actual mains switch here, but we've also changed the light bulbs, it means to say that this mains light switch should always be left in the on position. What happens if you don't want to use the smart home controls? Well, if you turn the switch off that's associated with the room, of course the lights go out. And if you turn the switch on, the lights get power and the default operation mode of each light is on. So by pressing the light on, you'll see that the lights go on. So if you come into the house and the light switch is in the off position, then pressing this mechanical switch once will allow the switching on and off of lights as normal without using any of the smart home facilities. If the smart home has been left in smart home operation and I've turned off the lights, so Alexa, turn off study, then if you would come to the study, you'd notice the lights are off. But then if you press this button, what you're actually doing is you're pushing off the power. So press it once more. Now the power is off, but you don't see anything happening. And you might think, oh, there's something wrong with the light switch. But what's actually happened is you've actually just powered off the light bulbs in the ceiling, which were in the off switched position according to each of these light switches in each of the light bulbs. So now this is off, the lights in the ceiling don't get any power, they're also therefore off. If I press this button once more, you'll see the lights go on because the power is now onto the switch. It supplies powers to the ceiling light bulbs, and their default action is to switch on and connect to the Wi-Fi. So to recap, if you don't want to use the smart home facilities and you don't want to change the light bulbs, you can just come in and use the light switches as normal. But if the lights were off, and they were switched off via the smart home system, you'll have to press the button twice to get it all going. For completeness, I would just say that the way these smart light bulbs work is if you switch them on and off 5 times, they go into a setup mode. So if you were to sort of surreptitiously press on, off, five or so times, all the lights will start blinking frantically because they think that you want to put them into setup mode. So don't do that unless that's what you really want to do, change the setup mode. If you were more than a casual user or you were staying here for some while, you might choose to install the apps that actually are directly controlling the light switches. That would mean to say that you wouldn't use Alexa's voice interface, but you could just go onto your smartphone and use the Smart Plus app or the Woox app. The Smart Plus app is the app for the LED-vance lights, and the Woox app is the app for the Woox lights. The lights in the bathrooms are not automated, they are just plain old mechanical lights. The button on the right is the light and is marked light, and that just operates with an on-off. And the button on the left is the fan. Now, the fan should not be left on for any appreciable amount of time, otherwise it will burn out the fan. How do you switch on the fan? You press the button once. When you press the button once, the fan switches on. And then when you press the button again, a second time, the fan goes into switching off mode. So let's just press it a second time. So in the second switching of the fan, it increases in speed, and that is a sign that within 10 minutes it will switch off. So in order to switch off the fan, you have to set the fan in the fast mode, the more powerful fan mode, and then eventually it will switch off. You cannot switch off the fan by just pressing this button any number of times. Once the fan is on, you need to press it a second time to increase the fan speed, and then after a timer it switches off. Do not leave the fan in the low fan position like this. Here the fan noise went down. That means to say it's in the on position and will never switch off except when the motor burns out.